Yo, what's good, everybody? This is your boy Everyday Tech with Stan JB, and I know I've been gone for a bit, but I am back and ready to get you guys some new reviews. Alright, so let's jump in. Now, back in 2020, I did a review on the Lenovo Yoga C740 14-inch version, and as I told you, that was a great little buddy to have during the pandemic, a fantastic little laptop. Well, Lenovo has followed that thing up with their 2021 model, and kind of slightly rebranded it. It is now known as the Lenovo Yoga 7i, and I have the base 14-inch model. Now, there's a couple of different versions. There's two different 15-inch versions and two different 14-inch versions, so it can get a little confusing. Not as bad as, let's say, the Microsoft Surface 4. Sadly, there's no AMD versions of the Lenovo Yoga 7i. But let me tell you my thoughts on it. Let me tell you my experience through it. So let's jump in. The version I have comes with the 11th gen 1135 G7 i5 processor, which is pretty snappy, pretty fast, and pretty powerful. Has 12 gigs of fast DDR4 RAM. It has 512 gigs of SSD goodness, and it promises about 13 hours of battery life, and it has a nice full HD 14-inch screen with 300 nits of brightness and a 16:9 aspect ratio. Seriously, I've been using this one for work and a little bit of play, and at about 3.1 pounds, it has not failed me yet, because I carry this thing along everywhere I go, just throw it in my book bag, just like I did with my last one, and just like that previous C740, this guy takes a beating. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I am never going to be the nicest guy to my laptops. I'm going to throw it in my book bag. I'm going to throw my book bag in my car. I'm going to yank that bad boy out the door. If I'm buying some tech, I expect it to handle my lifestyle. Another reason I love it, has a nice backlit keyboard. The keyboard itself is pretty comfortable, and I get a nice little bit of feedback from it, although it is a tad bit shallow. But like I said, it is a very lightweight and small laptop, so shallow keys are kind of expected in this type of product. Now, despite it only hitting 300 nits of brightness, I found it to be perfectly bright for everyday use. I actually have not needed it to be brighter, even when I'm, outside of Starbucks or something, typing up something real fast. Visually, it's been a blessing. It's crisp, it's clear, the colors pop, but it's not oversaturated, which, as you know with me, I do like more natural colors, and this offers a very clean visual experience. Nice viewing angles. I haven't noticed any bleed through the sides. I like it. I'm really enjoying this guy for my everyday tasks. Now, I do wish it did have some HDR capabilities, such as the step models, like the 15-inch with the i7 or even the 14-inch with the i7. They can hit those HDR visuals. This one, not quite, but it's still really good. So I have no complaints there. Just a little bit of a gripe, but that's just me being picky. And if you have to be picky with a computer, it's usually a good start. Now, this device is Evo certified. Now, what that means is there's going to be certain aspects of this product that Intel wants its top-of-the-line computers to have. One, at least 300 nits brightness. Another one is it wants you to have that rapid charging. So even though you can get long battery life with this, it wants to make sure that even if you forget to charge it, like I always do, you can get up to 3 hours of juice within only 15 minutes of charging. And that is something that comes in handy with me a lot. I said it in the last video. I just don't charge my stuff, so having that feature saves my butt way more than I like to admit. You're also going to get Thunderbolt 4 on multiple areas. You get about 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports on this guy, meaning you can charge, transfer data, you can connect to an HDMI screen. You can do so much with this Thunderbolt 4 port, and I cannot wait for every computer to have it. They also allow some nice biometric login. So on the Lenovo 7i, you do get fingerprint, and it works pretty well. As long as it's not grease or moisture on your fingers, it's going to pick up your fingerprint like that. You're not going to have to worry about your password. It is improved from the last generation. I noticed I had a lot more failed attempts with the Yoga C740 than I do with this one. So once again, it's just another aspect of an already good computer improving. Now, one other thing I love about this Evo Core certification is that means you get that Iris Xe Plus graphics. I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised with how well this thing works. To the point where I attempted to do some video editing using DaVinci Resolve, and it nailed it. I mean, scrubbing through my short video had no issues, no delays, no lags. Editing the audio was perfectly fine. Even adding in some extra After Effects. That was hard to say, but but added in those After Effects, man, it did it with no problem, even when I rendered it. Now, it wasn't the fastest render times, but it was definitely livable. Definitely able to use this as a video editing device on the go. Would it be my main one? Probably not, but it would be a solid backup. And if you get the step model with the i7 and I believe it has either 12 to 16 gigs of RAM, but it's just faster and stronger, I guarantee you could do more with that than you could with this i5 model. I think we're at a point where everyone's comparing everything to the MacBook, the M1 MacBook. And yes, it's an amazing chip in that guy, but that doesn't mean that Intel suddenly is a bad chip. Now, one other thing I have to give a shout out to is the speakers. Now, I love my computer to be as loud as possible. I don't know what it is. Headphones, speakers, TV, has to be very loud. This guy has some pretty loud headphones. Trust me, I was living on Zoom for about a week straight, and I found myself dropping that volume down to half, about 50%, because it was just super loud. It was just me in the house, but even then I was like, man, this is getting kind of ridiculous. It's not their best speaker, and it's not the best speaker, but it's actually front facing, so it sticks up and goes towards you, unlike most computer speakers that shoot downwards. So you get a nice clear sound. The only one that I could really think really beats this one, besides let's say a MacBook, would have to be the Yoga 9i series that have the Dolby Atmos speakers. Even without that though, this speaker is great. No complaints, and it surprised me how good I liked it. Nice and loud. Perfect. Now, speaking of those Zoom calls, I will say Zoom is a battery killer. I haven't found a computer that can survive Zoom just yet. I mean, man, and it killed it on this guy, to be honest with you. Everyday use, the battery life is really good, but when I'm using Zoom, I'm guessing because you have a 720 webcam, you have video coming in, you have loudspeakers, you have pretty bright screen, you have the Wi-Fi going at the same time, it just kills that battery. I mean, you'll be on a Zoom call and you will see it go from like 99, 98, 97. So that was the biggest battery killer for me. Other than that, man, it's a pretty solid battery life. Standby time was great because I always forget to charge it, and even when I pick it up, I'm at like between 50 to 30% battery. So there's no complaints about battery life minus that one issue. And until I find a computer that could survive Zoom calls and Microsoft Team meetings, it's about normal for a computer. Now to jump into the design of this bad boy, it's not bad. Honestly, super sleek, pretty minimal, and one of the more original colors for a laptop. I don't know if you can see it well on camera, but this is a mossy green color. And I love olive drab, I love mossy green, but I have to say, on a laptop, I'm not so fond of it. For people who like it on a laptop, it'll be great. It's not a bad color, it's just not for me. I would have preferred something a little more simple, actually. Maybe like a nice stealthy black or a very white laptop. I like those nice minimal designs. I do have to give them props for trying something a little different. You know, everyone does this solid gray and maybe a bluish cobalt color, but you very rarely see a green laptop. So hey, props to you, Lenovo. You did something new. Other than the color, I gotta say, it's a very sleek device. I love how it kind of tapers to the front. Everything is well cut, well designed, well produced. It is a durable feeling, nice metallic, cold to the touch laptop. It fails that one-handed test. It almost gets there, but then it starts lifting up. I'm guessing that the weight is just off on the bottom. It's super sleek, super nice. Only 3 pounds. Next to the Surface, that's one of the lightest laptops I've ever seen. I did like how last generation we had that champagne or mica color. I wish we had it for this version and not just the 9i series, but what can you do? There is a blue version that looks really good too, and that mixed with the sleekness of the design is really good. I like it. I think the blue was a more safer choice, even though you will see the green more often in stores. Don't know why. Now, color aside, I do have to say, the hinge on this guy, which is one of the things Lenovo is known for, as they started the whole 2-in-1 craze, it's very well built. It's sturdy, it's grippy, so Even when I'm not going all the way, it stays where I want it to. It's a very nice hinge, and you can tell they put a lot of time and R&R into it. So I have no concerns of it breaking or just being cheaply made. Good design, solid. Not the prettiest computer, but very functional, very minimal. It's good. And now we get to one of the most important parts of a laptop, and that's going to be value. The price on this, it's tricky. You see, right now, because we are in a chip shortage, it is a little bit more expensive. Just, costs more to manufacture and get the parts and everything. So sadly, we as consumers suffer for that. It hits about $929.99, but thankfully, because this is a Best Buy exclusive, you will be able to get it for like $100 off a lot of times. So it's in a tough spot. I get it, but most laptops that have this type of specifications are in a tough spot when it comes to pricing. You just gotta look for a good deal. And honestly, even if you bought it at this $929 price point, it's good. I don't think you're gonna feel cheated. I don't think you're gonna feel like you overspent. But just knowing that there's opportunities to get it for less is always in the back of my mind when it comes to recommending this for the price you get it at. Another problem is something as good as the M1 MacBook that I've been mentioning starts at $999, which is not too far off from this $930 price tag. So if you are strictly Windows, this is a great guy to go to. This is a very solid computer to go to. This is a very reliable, trustworthy device that can do a little bit more than they advertise. No one told me that I could video edit on this guy. I just had to try it for myself. I've played like Fortnite on this guy, no problem. Now, obviously, if you start playing some more graphically intensive games, you are going to need to tweak the graphic settings to accommodate the fact that it's not a gaming PC. But having a little bit of games, doing some video editing, I haven't tried music editing because I'm terrible at music, but it can handle these things. It is a surprisingly powerful computer. And if you are a Windows fan and you want something that's reliable and you want something that's lightweight that you can take with you on the go, I gotta recommend it. The Yoga 7i is a fantastic computer. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think about it or what you wish it had. What are you surprised it doesn't have? And please, hit that notification and bell icon so you know when I drop the next video. This guy, as of now, is my go-to work computer that I do with a little bit of editing. I think you should give it a try if you're looking for something similar. Once again, thank you for listening to me rant and talk and just blabber on. Hope to catch you on the next video. Peace.